ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Welcome back. So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 9 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As the head is the most important organ in the body of any living entity, similarly, this chapter is like the pendant of the necklace like Bhagavad Gita. So this chapter we see is situated in the middle of the 18 chapters. Bhagavan said in the 8th chapter, Bhaktya labhyastvananyaya, 8.22, that the personality of Godhead can be attained by pure devotion, Ananya Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion. So we see this is the ultimate message of Bhagavad Gita. And this 9th chapter is to say about the ultimate truth. The Vijnana Yoga that started in chapter 7 will be completed here in this chapter, chapter 9. So these two chapters, 7 and 9, are very similar in structure. So Bhagavan said in chapter 7, in the second verse, that Jnanam teham savijnanam vakshyami asheshatah yajñatva na iha bhuyah jnatavyam avasishyate. So nothing will remain unknown after knowing this. Means attaining the highest knowledge. So in the same tune Bhagavan says here in this chapter, in the beginning, let me share the screen. Can you see this? Is it okay? Okay. As we were saying, that in the same tune as Bhagavan said in 7.2, this first verse of 9th chapter, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajñatva Mokshyase Ashubhat. So, after knowing this, one will be free from all inauspiciousness of material existence. And this Jnana Vijnana, the same word we can see in 7.2 and 9.1. So that is the knowledge in full. After knowing this, nothing will remain unknown, and after knowing this, one will be free from all inauspiciousness of material existence. So we see Vidya, this particular word, as the name of this chapter is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. So the first word, Raja Vidya, this Vidya means to know the knowable. To know the knowable. It also means by which to be known. That is the means. So we see in 9.11, Bhagavan will say, Avajananti mam moodha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So this Raja Vidya, why Raja? Because it is the king of all knowledge, sovereign or kingly knowledge, we can say. And it is actually the knowledge of the Param Bhava, as it is said in 9.11. Param Bhava Majananto. So that Param Bhavam, or the Swarupa of the Supreme, is Raja Vidya. We see in the ancient time, Vidya was always confidential. Now we don't understand this because now it is universal. We can receive it from school, colleges, universities, etc. It is because nowadays we receive material knowledge. Still, there is danger of imparting the material knowledge of Aparavidya also to unworthy candidates. And that is why we see this is to be used for distraction instead of using for universal benefit. So here is the importance of eligibility that we will discuss soon. And that is why Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. What is Rajaguhya? Guhya means secret or confidential. So the most confidential of all confidential knowledge is Rajavidya. Satyasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. Satyasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. So it is in the deep core of the heart that the Lord is going to impart to Arjuna and to all of us. And here this Raja Guhya is the means to attaining that knowledge, that is Raja Vidya. So after knowing God, nothing remains unknown. This is the Vidya. This is the knowable. And after starting the journey of Bhakti Yoga, there is no inauspiciousness of material existence remains. So this is by which to be known, as we saw the different meanings of Vidya, two different meanings. So we see this path is Kleshagni Shubhada, as it is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion. So Kleshagni means that removes all the material sufferings. And Shubhada means all auspicious, that is, which brings only auspiciousness. So we see in the beginning of chapter 8, Arjuna asked 8 questions. So Bhagavan could not give the knowledge Asheshataha as he promised in the beginning of chapter 7. It was interrupted, which will now be continued. So confidentiality of this knowledge will be said again in the last chapter, that is chapter 18, in the 63rd verse. Bhagavan says, Guhyad Guhyataram. So it is the most confidential, even higher than all confidential knowledges. Guhyad Guhyataram. And in 18.64 also he says Guhyatama. So this is a clear indication to the next 2 verses, that is 65 and 66, where pure Bhakti Yoga is glorified as a conclusion. And that 18.66 verse is very similar to the last verse of this ninth chapter, that is 9.34. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru, that verse. So we see the proof of Bhakti Yoga as the most confidential Vidya. It is the most confidential Vidya. So this is the proof. In 18 we see. And as the Bhagavan will be describing in the whole chapter, this chapter. And we see Srimad Bhagavatam Chatushloki also says about this pure bhakti as Sarahasyam. Rahasyam means mysterious. So we see the mystery associated with this, or confidentiality associated with it. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, it is said, Krishna jodi chhute bhakte bhukti mukti diya kobhu premo dhan na den rakhe na lukaya. So, if Krishna can satisfy a sadhaka by awarding bhukti, that is material benefits, mukti, that is liberation, by these things, so then he does not give Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. He does not reveal this. It is so confidential. So we see that by getting the Vidya, which can make the Bhakta so powerful, by which the Bhakta can make the Lord Paradhina, as we see Bhagavan says, Aham Bhakta Paradhina. So definitely the Lord is not ready to give that very easily. So this is also the proof of confidentiality. And in the last chapter, as we were discussing, in 18.67, Bhagavan states the people who are not eligible to receive this knowledge. And he says that idam te na atapaskaya na abhaktaya na cha ashushrusave vachyam na cha mam yaha abhyasuyanti. So who are not eligible to receive this knowledge? Who are not austere, not devoted, not willing to hear or serve, and envious of the Lord and his devotees. These people are not eligible to receive this knowledge, this Vidya. And who are eligible, that also Lord conclusively will say in 18.68, Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhasyati bhakti mai param kritva mameva irshyasi asamshayaha. So one who explains the supreme Vidya, this supreme Vidya, to the devotees, he is sure to perform pure devotional service, and in the end will go to the Lord. So this particular word in 1867, that abhyasuyanti means who are envious, and the same here also in 9.1, pravakshami anasuyave. So who are not envious. This eligibility is also proved here as non-enviousness. And as we see in 4.3 also, Bhagavan said, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. So I will tell you the Uttama Rahasya, the highest transcendental truth, O Arjuna, because you are my Bhakta and Sakha. Bhaktas are by default faithful, and Sakha is non-envious. So bhakta actually having both the characteristics. So it is the thing. Now we see that Krishna glorifies the knowledge he is about to reveal in this chapter. In chapter 2, 3, and other chapters also, according to Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, Bhagavan revealed the Guhya Jnanam, that is confidential knowledge. And Baladeva Vidya Bhushana says, what is that Guhya Jnana? That is the knowledge about the Atma, soul. And in chapter 7 and 8, it is Guhya Tarak Jnanam, that is more confidential knowledge, one step ahead. And Baladeva Vidya Bhushana says that this is the knowledge of my powers and that is suitable for attainment of me. As we see in chapter 7, Bhagavan says everything, that how he is the cause of all causes, he is the essence of all essence, and how he is all pervaded, how he is Paramasatya. So everything was described after knowing which it is that is suitable to attain him, and that process of attainment to some extent was described in chapter 8. How one should practice Krishna consciousness throughout his life so that he can remember the Lord at the time of death. All these things we learned in 7 and 8. So that is Guhya Tarak Jnanam. And now in chapter 9, it is the Guhya Tamam Jnanam, that is the most confidential Vidya. So Baladeva Vidya Bhushana as well as Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, both the Acharyas say that this jnana refers to bhakti. Why? Because actions of bhakti arise from Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti, that is Jnana Shakti. And by bhakti, Bhagavan is completely known. So it is Guhya Tamak Jnana. Now Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says that it is the glorification of the subject matter, which that is the beginning of this chapter, verses 1, 2 and 3. And Baladeva Vidya Bhushana also says that having stated in chapter 7 and 8 that he who is the Lord of all beings, filled with knowledge and bliss, a treasure house of unlimited auspicious qualities, is easily attained by pure devotion, Ananya Bhaktihi. In this chapter, he speaks of his Aishwarya, his opulence, which inspires devotion, Bhakti. It acts as Uddipaka, so which stimulates the Bhakti. And the strength of this devotion is also described in this chapter. And Sridhara Swami says, having taught that he is attainable by devotion alone and by no other means, Krishna now introduces this chapter to expound his own incomprehensible glory and the extraordinary power of devotion. And our Srila Prabhupada says, that is 7 and 8, these two chapters says about the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different energies, that is superior energy, inferior energy, or nature, that is para and apara prakriti, and all material manifestation that we learned in 7, 8, these two chapters. And this chapter 9 is about the glories of the Lord. So now we will recite the verses and then we will discuss the rest. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Idam tu te guhyatamam प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात्. Synonyms. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Idam, this, tu, but, te, unto you, Guhyatamam, the most confidential, Pravakshyami, I am speaking, Anasuyave, to the non-envious, Jnanam, knowledge, Vijnana, realized knowledge, Sahitam, with, Yat, which, Jnatva, knowing, Mokshyase, you will be released, Ashubhat, from all miserable material existence. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved from the miseries of material existence. The next verse. राजविद्या राजगुह्यं पवित्रम् इदमुत्तमं प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यं सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम्. Rajavidya, the king of education. Rajguhyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksha, by direct experience. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Susukham, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Translation. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So we see this shloka. So far we discussed about the first verse, we can say, on the whole. And as the initial two words in this shloka, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, is also the name of this chapter traditionally, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga, as we said. So we already discussed about these two words, Rajavidya and Rajaguhya. So now Bhagavan says here in this shloka, that is Rajavidya, which is Rajaguhyam, that is this knowledge, this kingly knowledge, or the sovereign knowledge, which is the highest of all Vidya. That is the most confidential knowledge also. It has a few qualities at the same time that I am describing now, as if Bhagavan is saying. So he says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So, as we already discussed about Rajaguhya, the confidentiality, now the rest 6 qualities we will discuss now. The first is Pavitram. Why Pavitram? Because it has got extreme purifying potency. What is the proof of that? Because it destroys the effect of all sinful actions. That is why it is the purest of all actions. So here we see a very, very beautiful verse from Padma Purana is quoted. Aprarabdham phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyate praliyata, I think, yes, kramenaiva praliyata vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. So it is said that for those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, all sinful reactions, all means whether they are fructified or in the stalk or in the form of seed, gradually vanish. So it has got a resemblance of the growth of a tree from the seed in different stages, so as the papam, the sin. Some are in stalk and some are in the form of seed, and some are about to fructify, and some are already fructified. So different stages are there. So they all vanish. And in 7.28 also, that verse also said, Yesham tvantvagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrata, whose sinful activities are already washed off by punya karma, by meritorious actions or pious actions. So he can serve the Lord with firm conviction. And Narada Muni says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Pavayanti kulani prithivim cha. That is a pure bhakta. It is actually said in a relation to Prahlada Maharaja. So a pure bhakta can actually make his dynasty, that is the family lineage, pure. And not only that, even he can make the whole world purified. So this is the thing. So that is why pavitram. And then is uttamam. Pavitram idam uttamam. Uttamam means uttamaha, that is beyond tamaha. Tamaha means tamoguna. So actually, which is never contaminated by the gunas, that is the modes of material nature, which is transcendental, that is uttama. And we see, and transcendental to what? Transcendental to material activities. That means devotional activities can never be considered as material, though they may seem like the material activities. But actually, it is transcendental. And then is pratyakshaavagamam, that is direct perception of self by realization. So by practicing devotional service in the association of advanced devotees, by chanting and glorifying the Lord's name and pastimes, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offense, so they give a transcendental bliss. And also the helping in the missionary work. So in this connection, there is a beautiful verse in Narada Bhakti Sutra, the 50th aphorism. there Narada Muni says, Sa tarati lokam starayanti. That means who sincerely practices bhakti yoga, he not only himself goes beyond Maya, sa tarati, but also helps other to do so. Sattarayanti, whose lokams, that is all the general population who come in contact with him. So Vedanta Sutra also says that prakashascha karmani abhyasat. So one who is engaged in devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically. So such is the power of devotional service. As we see in the life of Narada Muni also, Narada Muni was a son of a maid servant in his previous life. But fortunately, during the time of Chaturmasya, he came in contact with some exalted Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and along with his mother, he served those Vaishnavas. And as a result, he received the highest Vidya, Raja Vidya. And then Pratyakshaavagamam, he also could perceive the Lord in that very life. As a small boy of 5 years old, he heard the voice of the Lord. And then in the next life, he came as Narada Muni. So, this is the thing. Now is dharmyam. Dharmyam means the perfection of religion. As Srimad Bhagavatam says, Sa vai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yatatma suprasidati. So the supreme dharma of mankind is the loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And what is the nature of that dharma? That is ahaituki apratihata, means causeless and uninterrupted. And the self is completely satisfied by this. Yatatma suprasidati. So that is parodharma. That is the supreme dharma of Pumsam, that is the mankind. Yato bhaktir adhokshaje, who renders devotional service to Adhokshaja, that is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Why Adhokshaja? Because he cannot be perceived by the material senses. That is why Adhokshaja. And that is why we already discussed it is transcendental, Uttamam. So by the transcendental practice only, the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead can be realized. Yes, we see in the last chapter, that is chapter 8, the last verse, 8.28, Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapassu Chaiva, that verse, there we came to know that Bhakti Yoga actually surpasses all the merits that can be acquired by various other religious practices. So, we see the regular religious practices are not needed for a Bhakti Yogi. And it is said that Acharyavan Purusho Veda, that is, one who is in association with great Acharyas, he will receive all the knowledge required for realization. That means advancement does not depend upon previous education or qualification, material qualification. So that is why it is the perfection of religion, dharmyam. And then is susukham. Susukham means easy to execute. Because no extreme pain to mind, body, and speech is associated with this practice. Because bhakti makes use of all the organs for higher purpose. Param drishtva nivartate. As we started in chapter 2. So here in this connection, Sridhara Swami says, Sukhena kartum shakyam iti arthaha. So it can be done happily, that is why it is susukham. And in Narada Bhakti Sutra also, in the 4th aphorism, it is said, Yallabdhva puman siddho bhavati, amrito bhavati, trupto bhavati. So, by practicing Bhakti Yoga, one reaches the highest platform, and the whole process is so beautiful, so happy, so blissful. Yallabdhva puman siddho bhavati. That is, siddhi means the perfectional stage. And amrito bhavati, that is immortality. That is going beyond the cycle of this mortal world. And tripto bhavati, completely satisfied. We see as Bhagavan is Satchidananda Vigraha. Ishvara Paramah Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So anything in relation to him is ever blissful. Ananda Swarupa. So we see a regulated, disciplined life with moderate food, that is prasadam, moderate sleep, and moderate activities in divine consciousness. It is actually a very pleasing practice. And then the avyayam, kartum avyayam. Avyayam, according to our Acharya, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, he says, avyayam, because it is beyond the gunas and not temporary, eternal. And Baladeva Vidya Bhushana says it continues even after liberation. Ramanujacharya says it does not perish even after my attainment. So much so that I give myself to him, to a pure bhakta, and then also I think I have done nothing for him. So such is the power of pure devotion. So in this connection, Srila Prabhupada also says it is eternally existing. Actually, it begins after liberation. Vidyate hridaya granthihi chidyante sarvash samshayaha. So, and the 9 processes of devotional service that is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, verses 23 and 24, we also we discussed earlier also. That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. These 9 processes of devotional service that is mentioned. And in the introduction part, that is the glorification of the subject matter that will be revealed in this chapter, the last verse in this connection, what happened? It is verse number 3. So, Ashraddadhana Purusha Sorry. Ashraddadhanah purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Ashraddadhanah purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Ashraddadhanaha, those who are faithless. Purushaha, such persons. Dharmasya, toward the process of religion. Asya, this. Parantapa, O killer of the enemies. Aprapya, without obtaining. Mam, me. Nivartante, come back. Mrityu, of death. Samsara, in material existence. Vartmani, on the path. Translation: those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So, Bhagavan clearly says, who are not faithful to this knowledge, that is this Vidya, as we already mentioned. What is this Vidya? Vidya itself means to know the knowable and by which to be known. So that means the highest of all knowledge, that is the supreme knowable, as well as the means to reach that knowable. So one who is not faithful to the Lord and to the devotional service cannot attain the Lord. It is very simple. And Bhagavan clearly says this. And definitely, as a result, they will rotate in the cycle of birth and death eternally. So, in this connection, there is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, verse 14. यथा तरोर्मूल निषेचनेन तृप्यन्ति तत्स्कन्द भूजोपशाखाः प्राणोपहारच्च यथेन्द्रियाणां तथैव सर्वार्हणम् अच्युतेज्या. So by giving water to the root of a tree, one can satisfy all its branches, twigs and leaves. And by supplying food to the stomach, one can satisfy, or all the organs are nourished. So similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, one can automatically satisfy all the demigods and all the other living entities of this entire universe. Because when the Supreme is satisfied, as we know, everything is in connection to Him. So everything else will also be satisfied. So that is why the conclusion of this verse is, God is not attained without faith. So with this, the beautiful glorification of the beautiful chapter by the Lord Himself in the beginning of this chapter, and I'm sorry we are a little late today. Actually, this subject matter is such that I tried to complete this in time, but I could not. Actually, the time limit we should maintain always, because time is very important factor as we know, but sometimes it happens like this. If the subject matter demands to express certain things, without the expression of that, we will not be able to comprehend completely. So, कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम